Hey, what's up, guys? Hope you're all doing well. So I want to talk about Yankee Killers, okay? I'm going to give you a list of pitchers and a list of hitters who just gave the Yankees fits, absolute fits, over, a span of basically a career. I know there's some guys like right now, like Randy Arozarena and guys like Charlie Morton, but they don't have this long track record of killing the Yankees. They have a short one, that's for sure, but these guys I want to talk about have a long track record over their careers, just being a thorn in the Yankees side, an absolute thorn, just like a bee, just stinging them left and right. So I want to go over some pitchers. Again, you're going to see some familiar names and probably not so familiar names, but the stats back them up, okay? And so let's go over some pitchers first. One of them is Frank Larry. I've never heard of the guy, but he went 27-10 against the Yankees with a 3.32 ERA. That's a long track record of success right there, okay? No really eye-popping stats in terms of strikeouts, things like that, but 27-10 against the Yankees in the older era too, when the Yankees had some really, really strong teams. That's legit, okay? That's a legit stat. So that's number one. Number two is Hoyt Wilhelm, Hall of Fame baseball player. So he's been around forever. You probably have heard of him. Now his numbers, his win-loss record is not that flattering. It's 7-11, but he's had a lot of opportunities where bullpens failed him. He's got a 1.96 career ERA against the Yankees, okay, in 75 games. So you can see here 209 innings pitched, about a 1.96 ERA. And that many innings pitched, that is a good stat against the Yankees. And you can see that the bullpens failed him multiple times. He's kind of like Jacob deGrom, with the Mets failing him all the time. deGrom goes like 8-11 and wins a Cy Young Award with 275 strikeouts and like a 1.8. Similar stats, okay? Because the body of dominance is there. Number three is Harry Kovaleski, okay? 12-4 in his career, 1.57 ERA, and 14 complete games against the Yankees. These are legit stats. I mean, this is a good career numbers here. 14 complete games against the good, strong Yankees lineups. That's dominance. 1.57 ERA. That's crazy dominance. Okay, 12-4. That's a serious body of work. This is a name you might remember. Roy Halladay. 18-7 in his career, in his short career. 2.98 ERA and 195 strikeouts against the Yankees. And remember, he played some of his career in the National League where he didn't really get to play the Yankees. So this is over a shorter time span when he was with the Blue Jays. So he absolutely owned the Yankees. Owned them. And, he deserves all the recognition he gets. Unfortunately, his life was cut short in a plane crash. But he was definitely a Hall of Fame pitcher. So, and last but not least, one of the greatest starters of all time, starting pitchers, Walter Johnson, the Train. 400-plus wins this guy had. Ridiculous. He was 41-25 against the Yankees with a 2.31 ERA, 345 strikeouts. 345, so like almost 10% of his career strikeouts were against the Yankees alone. So those are the five pitchers I wanted to point out. I mean, they had ridiculous stats against the Yankees. And again, there's other guys here, Charlie Morton, guys like that drive the Yankees nuts. That we, a lot of times we wish, damn, we should have gotten this guy, but we never got him. But again, the body of work over these careers are much more substantial than guys like Charlie Morton. And Charlie Morton now, because he still was a thorn in the Yankee side, so we'll constantly remember guys like him. And but again, he might wind up on an all-time list, something like this. But these stats are crazy. But now that we've talked about pitching, let's go over to hitters now. Guys that just drove the Yankees nuts also. Howie Kendrick is the first one on the list. Yes, Howie Kendrick, the world champion Astros. He played with the Angels and stuff like that. Played 61 games against the Yankees, a 346 batting average, okay, 411 slugging, 481 on-base percentage, and 12 stolen bases. And again, clutch hits here, there, constant, okay. This was a pesky guy that just like guys like Juan Pierre, like over a shorter period, like these guys just drove the Yankees nuts. Jay Buener, a former Yankee who, when they traded him, he became a Yankee killer, but it was over a short time span. So it's like, but these guys, and you might even recognize this guy, Pedro Tsuyako. Yeah, it may vaguely sound familiar because it was a more recent player, but he had a 407 average against the Yankees. 407, okay? .429 on-base percentage, and .556 slugging percentage. Again, you don't think, I'm like, oh, he's not, the big Frank Thomas. He's not, these big guys, Vladimir Guerrero and stuff like that. But Pedro Tsuyako, some of these unheralded guys that just absolutely kill the Yankees. Like I said, Randy Arozarena freaking kills the Yankees. What's their first baseman? Park. No. Choi. Ji-Man Choi from the Rays. Like, he owns Garrett Cole. But it's over a shorter period. So these guys have a longer stretch. But these stats are crazy good. Okay? Miguel Cabrera, who just hit his 500th home run, is going to be a shoo-in Hall of Famer. 66 games. You ready for this? 79 hits, 19 home runs, 333 batting average, 408 on-base percentage, and a 650 slugging percentage against the Yankees. Okay? And we're not even getting to the big stuff yet. But these are crazy good stats against the Yankees. Okay? And again, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. We all know it. The next guy always seemed to get all the big hits in the clutch. And I remember that hit off Jack McDowell in the 95 playoffs that put the Mariners over the Yankees in the playoffs. And yeah, I'm talking about Edgar Martinez. Now, Ken Griffey's not even on this list, but he's close to it. He owned the Yankees as well. He was probably the more complete guy who owned the Yankees offensively and defensively. Stole base hits, stole home runs constantly. But again, over a shorter time span because half his career was in the National League. But Edgar Martinez, though, lifelong Mariner, lifelong DH, 317 batting average, 423 on-base percentage, 542 slugging percentage. And he always seemed to come up with the key hit against the Yankees to either put them ahead or tie the game or win the game. And I'll never forget that freaking base hit that drove in Ken Griffey in the 95 playoffs. That was just a gut punch. Yeah. That was tough. That was a rough one. But he deserves to be on this list. And then last two, I mean, to me, is the Twin Towers versus the Yankees. David Ortiz, Big Papi, 303 batting average. And again, he owned the Yankees, man. 271 hits against the Yankees. 53 home runs, 171 RBIs, 150 runs scored, and in 243 games. Like, those are outer-worldly stats against the Yankees. And we already know David Ortiz with that lineup with the Red Sox. Like, he always came up against the Yankees with a key hit, a key home run, whatever it was. Just he gave the Yankees fits. And so did his teammate, the last guy on this list, Manny Ramirez. And I know Manny and David were both popped for juicing, but they were still elite hitters. And Manny Ramirez, one of the best right-handed hitters of all time. He had a 322 batting average and 55 home runs against the Yankees and over 100 RBIs too. These guys, anytime the Yankees would play them in the regular season, the playoffs, it doesn't matter. Hitting balls over the green monster, Manny, always coming up with the clutch hit, the clutch home run to break the Yankees' hearts. And, they were part of the team the Red Sox team that broke their curse and won the first World Series. Their first World Series was it 2003? 2004? 2004, I think. Yeah, 2003, the Yankees were in the World Series against the Marlins where they lost. So it's 2004, and then they came back in 2007 and did it again. So part of that dynamic duo, and I'm not even including all those other ridiculous players in that lineup, but Ortiz and Ramirez were the two most notorious Yankee killers of all time. And especially since they played together, it made it even worse. You couldn't get through these guys. It's just, it was brutal. But that's my list, guys. My pitchers and my hitters. Let me know what you think. We missing anybody? Who else should be on there? And again, I'm talking about over a longer time span in terms of career. These are career stats and ridiculous, absolute ridiculous stats. So let me know what you think on this list. Who should I put on this list, or who would you put on this list, and why? Put them all in the comments. Let's chat about it. But I'll see you guys tonight for the post-game live recap after the Yankees play the Braves. So over and out.